Okay, we continue on in Lesson 3 and learning more about layers and some of the features. Now at this point in time, if you went through the first part of the lesson, you've learned the layer system, how to create a new layer, how to draw with the lines associated with that. But now we're going to learn how to do some more manipulation with these layers. First off, I still have my 0 layer, 1 layer, and layer 2, all different colors and line types. And I'm going to show you how the off and on features come in handy. For example, as you can see, I have really drawn, let's make it a lot worse, I've really drawn a lot of objects overlapping each other here in the middle. And that's obviously visually confusing. So now we get to apply the cool thing about the layer. You simply hit the pull down button here, and let's say we're going to turn off layer 3. Well, to turn it off, just simply come over to the light bulb, click on it, and then click off on the screen. Now you're back in here, and everything's good. Now let's go back and turn off layer 0 and layer 1 by clicking off the light bulb, and there we go. We just now have the green layer, or layer 2, with the green color and the hidden line type. Let's go in reverse. Let's click on layer 1, turn it back on, turn on 0, and turn off 3. And notice what happens. Layer 2, I'm sorry, I should have said layer 2. Layer 2 is the current layer, and as soon as I clicked on the light bulb to turn it off, it says, are you sure you want to turn this layer off? Because it's current, it's the one you're drawing with. I'll go ahead and say sure. And I'll notice that it's not on at all. I can see the layer 1, I can see the 0 layer. Let's draw something. Let's draw a circle. What happened? There's no circle. How about a line? Let's draw a line. Where's the line going? Hopefully you have the answer. The reason the line and the circle aren't showing up is because I'm working on layer 2 and it's turned off. So, is the geometry there or not? Well, the answer is, we turn it on, geometry's there. See, there's the big circle, and there's that extra line. But I couldn't see it. So it's always critical that you don't turn off the layer that you're working on. Or if you do, switch to another one before you start drawing things. For example, there's no problem me turning this off, saying yes, and then coming up here and switching to layer 0, and then drawing a circle. Because it's easy to see that. Just watch out. You start drawing a line and nothing's showing up, check your layers, check your light bulb, see which one's current. And don't forget to switch, just hit the down arrow and select a different one. Very important that you pay attention to all that. And that's a very common mistake that goes on, so if it happens once or twice, don't worry about it, but learn from your mistakes. Okay, now let's talk about some other features. Let's turn all this back on, and let's say that I made a mistake. I come over here, that happens all the time, I make all kinds of mistakes. I come over here and I draw a circle. And I'm like, uh-oh, I drew that circle with layer 1, I meant it to be on layer 3. Well, I have two options. I can just go redraw the circle again, or I can switch it to the other layer. Watch this. If I click on the layer, and you see the grips, it means it's selected, I can then go up, hit the down arrow, switch it to layer 3 by clicking on layer 3, and there we go. I hit escape to back out, and the circle has converted itself to layer 3 and adjusted its line type to layer 3. That's real handy. And also note that it switched automatically back to layer 1. It didn't keep the layer 3. Let me demonstrate again. Here's another circle. It's on layer 1. I want it on layer 3. I select it. Then I go up to the pull down menu. I select layer 3. I hit escape, and there it is. So you can quickly readjust layers, objects to different layers just by clicking on them and pulling down the layer you want it to be on. Another neat trick is this. If you go up to your tool and look at the third one from the left, it shows some sheets with a little paintbrush next to it. It's called the match command. If you click on match, it allows you to match properties of one layer to the other, or one object to the other. For example, let's say that I want this circle to be on the green hidden line layer. Well, I hit the match button, I come over to the one I want it to be like, click it, enter, whoops, hang on a second, wait a minute, I'm sorry, This is a new adjustment. This tool doesn't work the way it used to. Disregard everything I said about matching. The way it works is you select the layer you want it to be, you hit enter, and then you type in the layer name that you want to switch to. Obviously that's the long way to go around doing this, so we're not going to worry about that one. So I apologize for making that mistake. So, best way to do it, click on the object, pull down, switch it to the layer that you want it to be on, and you're good to go. Alright, sorry about that. Now there are some other tools up here that are useful. For example, let's say that I'm working with layer 1 and I'm drawing lines and having a good old time, and I need to quickly change it to layer 2, or match it to, not really match it, but actually set a different layer to be the current one. I can simply click up to this thing and say, alright, I want this layer to be the current one, and it automatically switches it. It just basically sets the current layer, to be whatever you click on the screen. That's, it's probably about the same amount of time necessary for you to go up there and pull down where you want it to be, unless you have a bunch of layers. So you can use that tool or not. So anyway, these tools across the top, they're found in your book and they explain them in more detail, but they're not necessarily tools that you really use a lot, okay, versus just going and clicking on what you want and doing that. So I won't cover them, but if you get into a lot of layers and need some extra tips, go check out some of these tools in your chapter. Now, before I finish up this little video, I want to really stress yet again this significance of knowing how large of a line you're drawing. For example, I often have us draw a 6-inch line when we begin, just so I have a basic understanding of what my real depth is. You'll notice that when you're zoomed out, you really can't tell what a 6-inch line is versus a 600-inch line. And that is critical for us to know, because far away, drawing a line, you can't see it break at all. Up close, you can even get too far close and can't even tell what you're doing. So it's important to have something on the screen to gauge real size by. Now, if you don't remember how to draw a 6-inch line, or if you're trying to draw it like this, you're just kind of traveling along until you get about 6 and you say, oh, that's pretty close. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you try that on in your homework assignments, I will give you a 0. You don't ever try to draw a line just by getting it close based on what you read as you're going across the screen. All our lines are drawn using, click the line button, start, head in the direction you want to go, and you type in the value and you hit enter. That's how we get true lines. This technique of kind of freehanding lines and getting close to what it's supposed to be won't cut it. And you'll learn about that quickly enough during your grading. Alright, so none of that nonsense. Everything has to be real size when you draw a line. So if I say draw a 6-inch line, you go draw, line, start point, head to the right, type in 6, hit enter, and hit escape, and there's your true 6-unit line. So very critical that you pay attention to how big you draw lines, and it's often necessary to use some type of dimensions object to use as kind of a keystone, so to speak. A key point or some kind of point that you can reference and know how big you're drawing compared to. Okay? So play around with that, learn to switch layers or switch objects from layers back and forth, and get used to that as we go along. Alright, your book also talks about a little thing called Design Center. It's found in sort of the middle of this chapter, maybe a little bit toward the end. Design Center is a tool that allows us to access information from one file to the other and bring in neat little features. For example, it allows us to take lines that we have made, layers that we have created on other drawings and bring them into this one. Okay? So let me set something up real quick for us. Okay. I have saved the previous drawing and I have created a brand new drawing that has none of the neat little layers that I created in the last one, and for some reason or the other, I need those. Here's how we can do this. If you hold down the control button on your keyboard, hold down the control key on your keyboard, which is the bottom left on your key, CTRL, hold it down and hit 2, the number 2, so control 2. The Design Center will appear on your screen, the Design Center window. This can also be accessed via toolbar button, or I'm sorry, tool panel button, under the Insert Content. So you can kind of find that. It will be Insert, let's see, there it is right there, the design one. So, Design Center has a couple of tabs across the top, Folders, Open Drawings, and History, that allows us to pull information from one file to the other. Now, just for reference, I have placed the drawing that we were working on previously, called Drawing Alpha. I have placed it on the desktop screen. I am currently running a file that's just called Drawing 2. Right. I want to bring in layers from Drawing Alpha to Drawing 2. Here's how we do it. I use the, let's try the History tab first, see what happens. Nope, nothing there. Open Drawings, okay. Look, Drawing Alpha is still showing up. I'm in Drawing 2. That would be represented by this black screen here. And I can just simply go to Drawing Alpha, go to the Layers pull-down button, and I can see Layer 1, Layer 2, and Layer 3. If I want to add them to Drawing 2, I simply have Drawing 2 open like I do in the background, click Layer 1, drag it in, release. Click Layer 2, drag it in, release. I'll go check real quick, see how it's doing. There's the Home tab, the down arrow. Oh, there's Layer 1, Layer 2. No problems. So I'll go off to this other one and click Layer 3, drag, and release. Close Design Center down, and sure enough, there's Layer 1, 2, and 3 with the file name Drawing 2, these coming from Drawing Alpha. How about that? So Design Center can allow you to transfer not only files and blocks, or file information and blocks, but also layers and dimension styles and other kind of things that we can use later on. So that's a neat little feature that you'll definitely want to take advantage of, because as you create more files, you may find it necessary to transfer layer information back and forth. And not only layers, but also dimension styles and such. So that's pretty cool. Practice for it. At least practice bringing up Design Center, Control 2 on your keyboard, and then try and see if you can't transfer some features of one file to the other. We'll deal with Design Center a lot more later on, but for right now, we'll finish up with that one.